Hey everyone, welcome. We are going to go through the fastest way to process payroll in Xero and all the steps involved. I hope you've got your workbooks ready because we'll need those down the track. Let's get into it. If you're feeling stuck and just want simple, quick training on payroll how-tos, then you're in the right place. If you're sick of searching YouTube or Xero's help pages to get basic tasks done, and that is super frustrating because I had to do that many years ago, especially if you're not sure if you're even processing payroll correctly, or you're looking to start and are feeling confused how to begin. Not knowing these fundamentals can get you caught up in reporting problems that result in non-ATO compliance or not meeting your superannuation obligations. You may not be paying your staff or yourself correctly either. That is why we are here. We want to help you solve these problems so you don't have to worry about the ATO or your staff, and you want to make sure your business is compliant. This free training will give you the basic foundations to know your payroll is set up correctly before you process pays and how quickly you can process a pay run. If you've already started, that is totally okay. We can still check these foundations and fix anything up along the way. So what you're going to walk away with at the end of this jam-packed training is 4 things you can do in your payroll system today, within minutes, that are going to ensure you're compliant and give you clarity. That means each of these payroll hacks are specific things you can go out and implement right after this training. That's why you'll quickly notice this isn't like those YouTube videos you've watched in the past where it's a big promise, 20 minutes of yada, 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 and then they try to sell you something. I am here to just share what works, tell you what you need to do before you process any pay runs, which in turn creates a fast, effective payroll processing system. Now, just a couple of reviews from our lovely students and clients, from Jason at FXS Building Projects and Tanya from Tenqua Athletic Performance. Both of them, you can see, have noted that they highly recommend the training, that it's very much communicated in a way that is easy to understand. They've both loved it. I've had awesome feedback. You can just jump on my Google and check out my reviews for my workshops, training, and all-round general bookkeeping. Now, if I jump across to the next slide, we're going to talk about 3 super important things to take note. The first one being that this training works regardless of your business entity. So because all of these follow universal principles of cloud accounting software payroll settings, whether you're a sole trader or a company, trust, partnership, or whether, depending on your business type, the industry you're in, it follows the compliance all round. Now, if you're a business owner, you'll quickly notice this isn't some basic crap that you've heard before. I hate saying that word. These are little known secrets that most business owners and bookkeepers, even staff members, aren't implementing or even checking. This is based on 16 years experience of doing payroll for various large and small businesses. Now, if you are or plan on getting employees or paying yourself, your payroll setup is essential for a fast, automated process of wages. If you want to pay yourself or your staff correctly, of course, people don't just pay themselves without any data, rate, bank details, etc. And you can't find a payroll officer that has never done payroll, right? After mastering these initial 4 payroll efficiency techniques, you're likely going to be eager to discover additional optimization strategies. Rest assured, my expertise extends far beyond these fundamentals. However, I respect your time. I won't divert our focus during this training session. Following our training, you're going to have the opportunity to enhance your entire payroll system through our comprehensive Payroll Made Simple program. Its self-paced learning experience features dedicated modules that you can complete according to your schedule. So watch for details on how to join that transformative program after we've established your essential payroll foundation. Also, if you have already started paying yourself or employees, or you're well and truly running payroll, that is okay. You're still in the right place. You will get the most value from this training. You're going to be able to check that your settings are right, or if you've missed anything, and then you can just simply change it so it's right going forward. As they say, the measure of intelligence is the ability to change. That's a lovely quote by Albert Einstein that I absolutely love. So, what is payroll really about? Payroll and processing pay runs are not just about paying yourself or others. It's about making sure it's done right from so many different angles. Some examples are the ATO compliance through single touch payroll, your superannuation obligations, things like pay items in your payroll settings, because there are lots of different pay items or allowances or deductions to set up. So, how? How do you make sure it's done right? Let's get into that now. So, our first hack of the day, how to understand and go through your payroll settings. So, when you bring up your Xero payroll settings, you'll see these screenshots that I've put in here. Your organization settings are usually set up correctly when you create your Xero file, but it is still worth to double check that it is right. Your pay calendars. Do you pay your employees weekly, fortnightly, monthly? If you're a closely held employee, so the director of your company, you can pay yourself quarterly. So what I mean by that is you could pay yourself a weekly wage, but process a pay run quarterly to reflect those weekly payments. What day of the week will you pay? And what is your pay week? So are you paying on a Wednesday? Is your pay week a Wednesday to a Tuesday? Those kind of questions you need to know. Now, as we jump across to the holidays, so public holidays are set up by state. So you will see this tie in later during the employee setups. There is no more manually entering in when a public holiday arises. It automatically recognizes the public holiday based on the state that you're in. Now, pay items. This is super, super important. So you need to know that your earnings, if they're reportable on BAS, so your ordinary earnings, your gross earnings, overtime, your deductions to any of your staff, or do you pay yourself union fees or fringe benefits tax? And of course, then we've got reimbursements. So things like travel, meals, all of those sorts of things. We need to make sure that these are in here set up because it's going to make a difference when we set up an employee. And the next biggie after that is the leave under the pay items. So all the leave types, there is even the option to add extra. We've got the default leave entitlements based on a full-time employee. We can opt to show the sick leave on a payslip. Most of my clients don't for obvious reasons. We don't want people just taking all their sick leave because they can, but most certainly having their annual leave balance on their payslip. Single touch payroll 2. So STP phase 2 was recently rolled out in March and everyone had to comply by that date. The leave categories should all be selected as this links directly to the ATO. So we can see under that leave category column, everything is put where it's meant to be. Whereas before it was blank because this was not a thing that was set up through single touch payroll. They have now made sure that all the leaves link in with the leave category and that's reported through to the ATO through single touch payroll. Now, the last tab under the payroll settings is superannuation. So when you first start a Xero file, this is usually blank. So there's nothing set up here that we can see. You cannot add a super fund when you're entering in an employee. So when you're going through that employee setup process, you'll see that you can't actually add a fund in there because it must be done through the settings first. So to do this, we just hit that add a superannuation fund button. We start typing the name and it automatically pre-populates super fund. So you just got to make sure you select the right one. It'll have the USI or ABN number so you can double check or cross check that it is. And the employer number is your number, which is optional. A lot of people leave this blank. The employee number, so the employee membership number, is entered during their employee setup. Now that is it for the first hack. We're going to jump into hack number 2, which is obligations and ATO compliance with single touch payroll. So this is very, very, very important. I can't stress that enough. So what is single touch payroll? Single touch payroll is an Australian government initiative to reduce employers' reporting burdens to government agencies. In other words, as other people like to call it, it's Big Brother, but it is what it is. We can't do anything about it. It does actually save a lot of businesses' time and effort with keeping up to date with everything. With single touch payroll, you report employees' payroll information to the ATO every time you pay them through single touch payroll enabled software. So Xero, MyOb, QuickBooks, all of those general payroll softwares. So the information includes the salaries and wages submitted, your PAYG withholding, and the superannuation. So there's no more group certificates or payment summaries. They're now called income statements that link directly to your MyGov. So as I said before, bit of a big brother scheme, but it ensures that you as a business owner are doing your due diligence and being compliant and paying your super on time, paying your PAYG on time, paying your employees correctly, which is a main one. So that's why this is in place. Now, if we jump across to setting up single touch payroll, so this is very, very important to do before you do a pay run. So I've seen a lot of clients that have done the pay runs first and have not linked to the ATO, and it's just left a whole lot of outstanding unfiled pay runs, and it just becomes really, really messy. So to do the single touch payroll setup, we want to select the payroll tab and drop down into the single touch payroll. So that brings up that first screenshot up the top, and we want to hit the three dots on the right hand side and jump into STP settings. It'll ask you to check your organizational settings are correct. So just make sure things like your trading name, your ABN, your address, etc. are all up to date, and hit continue. It will then pop you onto the second page, which is very simple. You just literally follow the steps. So you call the ATO, they've got the number there, provide the details that they ask. So your company ABN, your software provider, your software ID. It's all in that little steps 2 box. It'll have all the details that you need to provide. And once they have confirmed it is set up on the phone, you select done on your screen. And then that is done. It usually takes about 24 hours. So I tell my clients to just wait till the next day and then file their pay run if they've done pay runs first. If you haven't started a pay run yet, good on you. That won't even matter. But it does take about a day for that linkage to pull across. Now, following on from the STP compliance, our third hack is superannuation obligations. So your superannuation compliance, automating your superannuation payments through Xero, which is going to save you a lot of time. So let's jump into that now. So when you first go in to set up your superannuation, so that's under the payroll tab, drop down into the superannuation, you might get this error message. Access to automatic superannuation requires a premium subscription, yada, yada. What that means is your Xero subscription needs to be upgraded to include superannuation payments. So highly recommend. It is absolutely worth your dollar in time, in compliance, all of the things. Once you upgrade your subscription and head back into the superannuation, might take an hour or so. It just depends when that update goes through. But as soon as you can, jump back into that superannuation tab and follow the prompts to set it up. So it looks like this: set up automatic superannuation. Let's get started. Usually the business owner is in charge of submitting payments to link the code and the phone number for the email notifications. So that's why it asks for your name, your mobile number, and your email, and you just hit next. And then on the last page, we've got to open those 3 documents. You cannot proceed without viewing these. I know, it's just the way it is. We then review the terms and tick the box. The grey button down the bottom will then turn blue for you to be able to finish this. Once you press that, you are done. Your setup's complete and your superannuation is now automated through Xero. So as I mentioned before, it may take a day or so to view. Once that's done, you can jump back into your superannuation and have a look. And once you jump in to have a look, it usually looks like this. So you have a little superannuation payments where we will add a super payment. It'll then bring up if you've had pay runs, it'll bring up your liability, which is all the stuff that haven't been paid for the quarter because you're being compliant and you're paying at the quarterly date. You can sort it by employee, by date. You can select which payments you want to make or pay, and then you can submit it for approval. So to do this, we select those payments. We scroll down to the bottom and we hit submit for approval. It'll then send your mobile phone a code. So that's where we need this to key in the code. We hit approve and submit. It will then spit us back into the superannuation page where we will see that it's awaiting processing. In this instance, I've just added the processed ones. If the batch does fail, the payment simply sits back as outstanding in the superannuation payment. So you've just got to re-add it. I just added that screenshot in here to show you what it does look like if it fails. And from the bank reconciliation side, when you've set up your bank feeds, it'll pull through as super choice. And the who is super choice, the what is superannuation payable. We must make sure that that is superannuation payable, the liability account, not the expense account. So you'll see two accounts. Make sure it's superannuation payable, the liability account. And why? You're meeting your super obligations. So woohoo! And the last little thing is the quarterly super payment due dates. So they line up with your quarterly BAS if you lodge your BAS. The 28th of October, 28th of January, 28th of April, and 28th of July. So there's your periods, there's your payment due dates. Sometimes clients prefer to pay monthly just so they keep on top of it. Whatever you prefer, as long as it is before those due dates. And our last little hack of the day, the part we've all been waiting for. I'm sorry it's last, but it just has to be with how things are in order. We're going to add employees and automate their pay. So it's pretty much a click of the button once they're all in. So when we jump into this, it's pretty much payroll, employees. We want to start a new employee. So it's going to bring up basic employee information and we've got to fill in the blanks. This creates the employee profile. So let's go through this together. I have a recording of how it is done through Xero. I'll show you how simple and quick this is and the reason why we put certain things in place. All right, so to start with a new employee, we're just going to go through the whole process from beginning to end. So if we jump in here, we add new employee, add employee. We're going to have Mr. John Jones. We're going to have their date of birth. That job title, whatever their job title is, their gender, address. So whatever address here, it'll bring up a list of things. So I'm just going to put a false address in here. And we've got the option to enter it manually, obviously. It's not liking this because it doesn't exist. Postcode, mobile number, email. And invite employee to Xero Me. So what that means is they have access to their pay slips, or if they're keying in timesheets through Xero, they can do all of that through Xero Me. Emergency contact details. We hit save. Then we jump across to their employment tab. Now here we've got employee because they're an employee. Income type, closely held payees. That's if you yourself as a director or owner of the company want to pay yourselves that quarterly, monthly, or however you like to pay yourselves. Working holiday maker, we're going to do salary and wages because they're just an employee. They're full-time. Their start date, we'll just key in 1st of May. Awards, if they're based on an award. Payroll calendar. So this is where you would see all your calendars if you've got monthly or quarterly as well. We're going to do weekly for today's purpose. We don't have an employee group. Now this is the holiday section. So we've got holiday groups. We're going to do New South Wales. However, whichever one you're in, it'll then pull the holidays based on that state. We want to include holidays in pay slips. Ordinary earnings, just a default.
Now, we don't want to give them access to authorize or approve timesheets or leave, because that's usually your job as the manager or business owner, not the employee's job to approve their own leave. However, there is an option there. Now, superannuation, this is where we keyed in the super earlier in the settings. So if you didn't put a fund up there before, this would be blank. You wouldn't be able to drop down anything because you need to key the fund in the settings first. So we're going to select the one that we've set up. Member number, that's the employee member number. So whatever their number is, we'll key it in here. We've added that, and we've got to hit the little save button down the corner here. So that's all saved. Now we've also got the history as well. So if anyone ever makes any changes, we can see the user that makes the changes. It's pretty much just pulls up like a little audit trail of what's gone on in the employee card file. So the next tab is the taxes. So this is where you key in things like your tax file number, tax-free threshold, HEX or help debt, etc. So whatever their tax file number is, if you don't have it yet, you do have the option to select these. So I'm just going to do awaiting TFN. However, that's where you would key in the tax file number, whether they're an Australian and a foreign resident, tax scale, regular. However, you have these other options here as well. And that's where you would select their helps or HEX debt. This guy's claiming the tax-free threshold. And you've got save and file now, which means it'll file it to the ATO. I'm just going to hit save because we're just doing a demo. Now their leave. We want to assign the default leave type. So that's their sick leave and annual leave. So they do have the option for all other different leave types. So paid parental leave, unpaid, etc. And that's where you would key in a new leave form. Otherwise, the other way to do it is through here. So bank accounts, pretty straightforward. Just if you're creating an ABA file, it'll pull these bank details. So wages, their account name and account details, and save. Payslips is just a record of all of their payslips to date. It'll be blank because we haven't created one yet. And now we'll jump into pay template. This is where you automate their pay, so it pulls every pay run, so you're not manually having to key this in during the pay run cycle. So we'll hit add earnings line. We just want this to be ordinary hours. You've got the option to enter a rate or an annual salary. So I'll show you what both of those look like. So if you're going to pay them $35 an hour for a 40-hour week as an example, or we can do an annual salary, 40-hour week, and an annual salary of, say, $60,000. So you've got those two options there. So I'm just going to leave it as an annual for today. And we want to add a superannuation line, which is just your normal SGC. Now, you want the statutory rate. So obviously every year the super rate is changing. So we want to make sure that this amount is selected. So we hit OK. If you're doing things like superannuation salary sacrifice, then you would select additional employees contribution, and you can do a fixed amount or a percentage of earnings, completely up to you. But that's where you would put in that salary sacrifice amount. Obviously deductions like your fringe benefits tax, other deductions or reimbursements would all go in here as well. But for today, it's just a standard pay for the week. We hit save, and that is going to automate his pay every week to be the 40 hours at your 60,000 K salary. Now that he's added in, if we just jump back into employees here, we can see that he has been added in and his next payment date. So to run a pay run, we will then go into the payroll processing, pay employees. And we'll go add a pay run. And we know that he's on the weekly calendar. And we can see him up there. So I'm just going to remove the other guys, but you can see that that is automated. So you would select your payment date. It is what it is. If you'd like to go in and check, you can see it's pulling all of that across correctly. It's pulling his super correct. His leave and sick leave are calculating correctly. And that is automated. So all you would need to do is go bang, that's what he's earning per week, post pay run. Yes. Email pay slips. And if he's got access to the Xero Me, he can view it himself as well. And then we would file it to the ATO. Select that and submit. And that is your payroll complete. That is how quick it is once you have it automated and set up their pay template. So obviously that's not filed, but that is his little pay run for the week done.
Now, as you've just seen, we can complete this entire payroll process in under 2 minutes. That's how efficient Xero is if it's properly configured. Now, you've joined this training session either to learn Xero's payroll processes or to verify your current procedures align with best practices as well as ATO compliance. Now, there are numerous resources across various platforms. However, our comprehensive program consolidates all of this essential knowledge into one accessible location. We've meticulously structured this training to ensure your system is properly configured, maintains full compliance, and enables efficient payroll processing. It also seamlessly integrates with single touch payroll reporting with remarkable simplicity, so it's easier for you guys. Now, if you want to dive into bigger things like STP finalization for year end, your specific payroll requirements, processing leave types, timesheets, super, whatever your business requires in payroll, there's also some big important ones like identifying and fixing payroll errors, then listen on because we have payroll made simple. This is designed that you don't need to do a TAFE course or a bookkeeping course. We can master payroll really quite simply. We have one-on-one training payroll completely tailored to your needs. We are also including our full comprehensive payroll program. It features 4 essential modules that teach you everything about Xero payroll from start to finish. So you're going to learn how to create effective systems, streamline your processes, and gain valuable Xero payroll skills that you can use forever for life. This is constantly updated as well. Plus, you get that one-on-one training. So I'm going to try and really quickly recap this. When you join Payroll Made Simple, you're going to receive instant access to everything you need. We'll contact you for that one-on-one support, completely tailored to your business, step-by-step video training and practical exercises that are going to transform your uncertainty into complete confidence. You're going to have the tools to create streamlined, effective payroll processes. We're going to have our expert payroll mastery, my proven training, and step-by-step systems delivered comprehensive Xero payroll expertise with professional tools and resources. This ensures 100% accuracy and compliance for you and your business. We're going to also have our advanced reconciliation techniques. This is high-level payroll skills through our payroll reconciliation module. This is something that I've learned over 16 years with doing payroll. It teaches you how to prevent errors and instantly troubleshoot issues. This is expertise you can apply in any business environment as well. We've also got our complete resource library. So this is access to my payroll workflows, practical exercises that guide you systematically through each process. This builds confidence and competency at every stage. So they're like work with me type examples. We've got bonuses as well. So we've got customizable employee handbooks, receive a comprehensive new employee onboarding pack that you can easily tailor to your specific business needs. And most importantly, our essential compliance training. So master STP finalization, these procedures that ensure your employees' tax reporting is accurate, timely and fully compliant with ATO requirements. So this is your year end that gets sent to their MyGov as well. So this makes absolutely everything worth over $3,000. Now, about me as well, I've got over 16 years of payroll experience. I'm a fully certified and bachelor degree bookkeeper and BAS agent. I'm also Xero advisor and payroll certified silver partner. So all things Xero, I've got you covered, especially during that one-on-one training. We can go through anything that you like. Now, a little bit about our recorded modules. This is what's in our system for our 4 modules: how to design your perfect payroll system, key ingredients to other payroll areas, single touch payroll, payroll reconciliation process, year-end processes, and lots of bonuses and resources and goodies are in there as well. Now, how much is my investment? A bit of a background as well. So my clients invest between 7,000 to 30,000 annually. That's for comprehensive payroll management. So me fully managing their payroll. Obviously, pricing is scaled depending on their employee count. Now, outsourcing a bookkeeper, if you haven't done this already, typically costs minimum 300 monthly. That's for small teams, 1 to 5 employees, depending on the bookkeeper structure. That totals about 3,600 annually, thereabouts. When factoring in those additional services like year-end finalisation, amendments, this usually I'm just throwing in a ballpark figure of $1,000. That's approximately 9 times the investment of this program, which also provides the lifetime access to knowledge and training resources. Now, if you don't want to outsource and you're wanting to do it yourself and the payroll processing is less than 5 minutes, the cost benefit analysis favors building internal capacity rather than ongoing outsourcing. Now, the reason why we're doing this is attempting to manage payroll without proper knowledge carries quite significant financial risk considering the compliance around it. Accounting firms charge substantial fees to rectify errors, typically in minimum billing increments. Even minor mistakes can cost upward of $1,000 to resolve, with more complex issues commanding significant higher fees. I've worked in an accounting firm myself, and I've witnessed the cost firsthand that's involved to rectify these issues. And ongoing outsourcing or error correction does create a constant expense cycle. My mission is to make training accessible to as many businesses as possible. This is enabling my clients to implement effective, compliant payroll processes independently, and that's why I love doing this training and providing all of these modules and resources and bonuses. The discount is it's just yours today for $497. We've only got 20 spots available, and we only release this a couple of times a year. So jump on before those 20 spots fill up, because we've had high demand with this type of training. Especially depending on the time of year, if it's year end, quarter end, depending when you're starting up your business. Now, this is my favorite part. I love giving away a bunch of freebies. We've got an employee handbook package that's in there for free. We've got our 4-stage payroll lifecycle workflow. This is if you just like visuals and following step-by-steps within each stage. We've got real-life examples. This is to help build your skills in the reconciliation process of payroll. So we've got Excel spreadsheets you can play around with the actual like answers on other tabs. We've got a calendar for essential reporting dates. This is obviously updated every year. And we've got additional free support methods as well. So on top of the modules, on top of your one-on-one training, we've got all of these freebies in here as well. And we really, really hope that you have enjoyed, and thank you for staying on this far. Really appreciate, lots of gratitude. I know it's not easy staying on a webinar for this long. Jump on board. Once you lock in your investment, we'll be in touch to lock in that one-on-one training at a time that suits you. Thanks, everyone.